and welcome to Voices Unhindered. I'm Crystal Jenkinson. On this show, I give a unique perspective and listening ear to voices that often go unheard. I want everyone to know that you are not alone and that your voice and story matters. This episode of Voices Unhindered, I speak with Amelia Crawley on breaking generational patterns of sexual abuse, addiction, and suicide. Amelia shares how despite growing up in an outwardly appearing Christian home, she experienced sexual abuse by a sibling from as young as 5 years old. What kind of stuff did you have to do, like within the church community?
So it started with singing. We did like lots of items because my mum came from a very musical family. They all sung. So I started singing at church and then we'd, lead out for the services. We just got put on the roster one day and it was like singing at church, yeah.
And what kind of church was it?
In regards to worship style or what denomination? The SDA, the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Oh, yeah. Because you grew up in the Seventh-day Church, hey?
Yeah, we were very, very good Seventh-day Adventists. It's funny you say that because I was like in the shower this morning washing my hair. I was like, do you remember those times your friends would be like, hey, what are you doing on Friday night? And it was like, yep, nothing. It's the Sabbath. I will be home.
Yeah.
When can you come out? Sunset on Saturday. What time is it? I don't know when it gets dark. I think it was quite different to a lot of the friends I had growing up.
Did you have friends, like a lot of them were outside of the church?
Most of them, yeah. When I was a teenager, we had this kind of little group going at church and they were really lovely people. But most of my friends were outside the church.
Where did you meet them, like at school? Did you go to Seventh-day school? Or did you?
No, so I actually went to Aranui High. And then I went to Hagley. So I met my best friend at Hagley. We're still friends like 15 years later. I overshared too much and I made really good connections with people.
Yeah, you're very relatable. Like when I first met you, you're very open, I thought, as a person.
For telling people stuff, it's just best to be honest.
Do you think some of that is to do with trauma?
Yes, absolutely to do with trauma. Genuinely like you. Then that's like the best relationship kind of foundation that you can build a friendship on because you've been honest from the start.
And like you attract what you are. I've realized like if you're going to be real, like you attract those types of people and you just can't be friends with people that are just fake.
No, it is that though. My mental health is wonderful and I want to be honest when I'm having like an awful week, day, year of like, actually, this is how I am.
Are you a really loyal person?
Yes.
Like caring?
I do. I love people. I think that's trauma.
Yeah. Are you empathetic?
Yeah, I can walk into a room and pick up on everyone. It's awful. No, because when you've been doing it your whole life, you realize that it actually takes like a huge toll on your mental health, especially in those places where there's someone, who has a certain vibe and you're like constantly feeling it. It's really hard.
Sounds like you have the gift of discerning of spirits. Like that sounds like what you have. Because not everyone like picks up on people's like energies. Like they're like, oh, they're a nice person, but then like you see like, no, there's something.
I think so, and this is what I do all my life is just like expect the worst and hope for the best, and that is when meeting people as well. These are these people.
So do you think everyone's like nice in general, or do you kind of look at everyone from a negative standpoint?
No, it's changed. So before that, I would say yes. I would trust everyone probably too much, and it was bad. Now I have 5 kids, so I don't trust anyone. Like it's hard when it's just myself. I feel like I want to give more of me, but when my kids are exposed to maybe meeting new people and stuff like that, like I wouldn't leave them alone.
You're quite protective.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What about sleepovers? Do you do?
No.
Yeah, me
no.
too. I don't. And do you think that's something to do with your experiences growing up?
Oh, absolutely. And in saying that, we were never allowed on sleepovers as a kid either.
You just don't know what's at that person's house. You actually don't know what they're doing.
No, and there's so many
risks.
Yes.
Like they outweigh the benefits, I feel like.
Well, it takes one bad incident to happen to a child to traumatize them for their life. I've just got to get them to like a reasonably adult age that they can then look after themselves.
Talking about energies and like what were the relationship energies like at home growing up and what was the atmosphere like?
Oh, it was always busy. There was a lot of energies of big personalities. It was very diabolical. I remember I had one friend who I would say was quite normal come to their house and they're like, wow, you guys could have a reality TV show. Because there was always just something happening all the time.
Dramatic.
Yeah. And exciting and angry and fierce and everything. Yeah, there was lots. Always something happening.
In a good way? Was that a good thing or?
I don't know. I mean, I'm used to the chaos now as an adult.
Yeah, I can see that when I came to your house, you're like really cool with like everything going on, like water guns and like.
I know, you have to be. Otherwise, I don't know.
Yeah, you have to enjoy life, eh? You can't
You
be
do.
a
It's like,
perfectionist.
no, the thing is like, you're like, okay, this is going to happen. We can go with it.
And like what happened recently with your son, like
Oh, no.
being sick on your new
No.
floor?
I know. Yeah, he threw up on the bedroom floor. Well, the day before
It's not their
that,
fault.
the baby threw up all over the van and into my cupped hands because I'm like, no, wait, I need to find something. And she's just like, bleh, bleh. And it's like, I've got this bucket of hands full of vomit and I'm like, oh, this is my life. I think we need to let them out of the box a little bit, let them do their thing and try and rein them back in before bed.
Yeah. And how many siblings did you have, like sisters and brothers? Like how many sisters, how many brothers?
I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and I'm like right in the middle. So I'm number 3, the forgotten one.
Yeah. Would you say you were a like tightly knit family?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But there was also, my mother was, not fond of us ever sharing things outside of the family. Like that was a big thing when we were younger.
Do you think that looking back that was a good trait, or like do you think it was kind of like, that's a bit not healthy or?
I know other people do it. Like, what happens at home stays at home.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I'm like, well, the issue for me is if you're not doing anything wrong at home, then I don't mind what my kids say.
Yeah.
Because
that makes
it's like,
sense.
duh, yeah, they did do that or whatever. That's fine because it's normal.
Yeah.
But when everyone's so tight-lipped about these things that happen at home, and I do understand family business.
Yeah.
That's mummy's business. But like other stuff, kids going to school and saying, oh, we did blah, blah, blah. It should be fine as long as, nothing bad is happening.
And just going into like what you told me about some abuse that happened at home, particularly sexual abuse, did you feel like that was one reason why you were kind of told not to speak too much to others?
I know exactly what you're saying. Possibly. I mean, for a while, not everyone knew about that. But afterwards, that was something that would not be good to share outside the home.
A good look kind of thing?
Yes, it is. Well, it's all about looks, isn't it?
Yeah. Did you feel like that was the motivator for like why you mentioned to me once that your mum kind of wanted it to look like you were all like put together and like at the church singing at the front all the time, like good little Christian kids.
We were, and we wore matching clothes.
Wow.
No, we wore matching clothes.
Well, you must have been cute though.
I was the cutest.
Yeah.
She did. She had this. I don't know if it came from her father because he was a minister and he was always, dapper because he was an islander.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like for his generation as well, he probably had something to prove when he came to New Zealand and became this minister. And just being, an islander, I feel like he probably had a certain standard he wanted to live to.
So your mum is from Niue?
Niue.
And your dad is?
Palangi. Mum's parents were from Niue. She was born here.
So just going back to your dad, did you have a good relationship with your dad growing up? Or was he kind of, like you said, he was kind of like a go with the flow kind of guy? Do you think that was partly because of your mum's personality, like her strong?
Yeah, he had to be. Mum was very much the head of the household. Also, my dad wasn't a Christian when he met my mum.
Oh, how did they meet?
Okay, no, I do know the story. She had a friend and her friend said, hey, I want you to meet my friend Jeff. And she met him and she's like, no, I don't like him. And then one day she was giving him a haircut and she's like, oh, he's actually quite handsome. And that was
Your
that.
mum?
Yeah.
Oh,
my mum was
wow.
giving my dad a haircut before they were together and said, oh, he's actually quite handsome. And yeah, so that's how they met. No, my dad was wonderful. He was constantly providing and to the best of his ability. Yeah, like he would be out at night, I remember. There'd be a light in the backyard and he was fixing up a car. It was like pitch black outside and he's under this light fixing a car up to pay for stuff. It was wonderful. I loved my dad. He was cool. I didn't know how cool because he didn't We didn't talk much when I was younger. In later life, I got to know who he was a bit more, and we shared a lot of our, a lot more things and got really close.
And do you mind me asking, like, why he came to stay with you guys?
There were issues with my parents' marriage. Where did my mother move? I think she was just house hopping, living with different siblings. And he was just at home alone because there were animals at home. We always had animals, so I'm pretty sure he was just home. And he just got quite lonely, so came and stayed with us. They still had the house and he still had the animals, and he'd go home and feed them and come back after work.
And just checking, they weren't together while your mum was house hopping. They weren't actually in a relationship, or they were kind of separated?
They were separated. Yeah, still married. I never like to judge what's happening in someone's relationship because you just don't know. They could be saying to the world, we're together, and you don't know what they're actually doing, and that is between them. But to the outside world, I would say they were separated. So he came and stayed with us for about 3 months before he passed away.
Do you mind me asking how he passed?
So Dad committed suicide in 2017, which is funny because it just seems like yesterday.
Yeah, it does.
And then you're like, oh, what year are we? Oh, 2025. Yeah, Dad actually, some of the stuff he shared with me when he came and stayed was that as a child he was sexually abused.
Whoa.
But I think a lot of people just picked up that he was just a good person.
So just going back to your childhood, I'm going to ask, do you know some of the things your dad struggled with as a child and when he opened up to you about it?
Well, he didn't open up about his sexual abuse until we were adults.
Yeah.
We didn't know.
Yeah.
And then he started doing therapy and, trying to get his stuff together. And then he had his uncle die, who he got really close with. And I wonder if he got really close with him because he lost his dad really young. Oh, yeah. Well, not really young, but like when I never knew my granddad. So Dad didn't have this kind of father figure, I guess.
Yeah.
And then he met up with his mother's brother, and they spent like all the time together. He used to ring the house like 3 times a day because he was just a lonely old man. But, Dad always took the time for him to talk to him, and they got really close. In the space of a couple of years, he came out and told you he shared his trauma. He lost his uncle and his marriage was breaking down. And I think, it was just too much. Yeah. But he actually shared with me that if you want to hear the story, his sexual abuse story was that there were 5 boys in the neighborhood who used to play together. And there was a couple who lived in a house who had birds. They had aviaries. And the children would go and look at the birds.
Were they a creepy couple?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the boys went in to look at the birds. That's how they got them in. Yeah, come feed the birds. And they sexually abused them.
Oh, that's disgusting. Like a male and a female together?
No, 2 men. They sexually abused them. And then they told them things like, if you go and tell your parents or your friends, we're going to kill you.
And your dad was part of that 5-boy group? Yeah.
And so when he was discussing this trauma with me, he told me there's only me and another guy left, but the rest of them all committed suicide.
Did this happen just once, or do you think they kept them there? And
No, they kept going back. So they'd be like, if you don't come back. So there's little boys, I don't know the ages, and I kind of wish that it wasn't so late in life that he shared this, because I would really have loved to understand more about what he was going through. But, and this is what he told me, the abuse ended because there was a house fire.
Oh, yeah. In their house?
Yes, and they both died in this house fire because they were alcoholics, and they went and drank one night and went to sleep. And mysteriously, maybe, the house burnt down, which is why I want to go on this deep dive and search this stuff. I don't know if I'm ready for the horror yet to find out, but Dad said, we took care of it.
Oh, do you think he was partly to do? I mean, you'd feel like
they were little boys. They were 8 to 10 or something, and they had to keep coming back, or the men were going to hurt their family.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Yeah, but also I'm so protective of my kids, and especially with the internet. I'm like, if people tell you things, it doesn't necessarily mean it's true.
Exactly.
If people are saying, if you don't do this, I'm going to blah, blah, blah.
I don't like anyone speaking to my daughter that I don't know. I'm like, why is that person speaking to you? They're supposed to go through me. If they want to speak to her or do anything, I'm like.
Just the trauma. Men speaking to my children.
Yeah.
Without that I don't know. It's like, hey, what are you doing? And I mean, they could be lovely people. It's just the trauma. It's coming out. It's like, I've got to keep my child safe.
But there's also some wisdom in that too, like just keeping them safe, from strangers.
But there are so many strangers who do strange, awful, awful things these days. And I feel like in my head, I think of every worst case scenario. To the point where, like, my eldest child was like, Mum, can I please go to the park? And I was like, no, no. And he's like, it's fine, Mum. No men are going to touch me. And I was like, oh. And I'm like, Bobby, seriously, just, age appropriate, because the other kids are like, what does he mean? I'm like, nothing.
Oh, yeah. What does he mean?
just stop. But it is that, and in my head I'm thinking that. And I'm like, no, there might be men or women or anyone who might touch you.
And it's not just a man thing, like it is a woman thing as well. Like abuse is just, I guess, men get away with it a lot easier. Like, women get away with it easier.
Well, a woman would get away with it easier. I wonder if that's why the statistics are so low,
I
because
guess.
they're better at it.
I know, because it does happen. It's just that it's not actually spoken about enough. Do you mind me go back to your childhood a bit?
No, go for it.
I was going to ask, when did the sexual abuse start happening between you and your sibling? Or was it just one sibling that perpetrated it?
So, yeah, there was sexual abuse in the house, and it happened to me from someone else, and yeah, maybe others. I don't feel like that's my story to tell.
Yeah.
It wasn't isolated, and, there was abuse happening from within the house and outside of the house.
From the sibling or from other people?
From other people.
Were they in the church or were they like outside of the church?
Well, the thing is, my family did lots of outreach, so we met a lot of people.
Yeah.
So there was a sibling who's experienced sexual abuse from someone that was met through outreaching who wasn't in the church. There's people everywhere doing everything.
Yeah.
We were never allowed to leave, and yet we weren't even safe at home. Yeah, and it went on for a really long time.
How long do you think it went on for? Like, what age do you remember it started happening, and then what age do you remember it kind of like died down, or did it not die down?
No, it did die. It did die. No, it's living and kicking. It happened for years, so I don't know. I want to say like 5-ish, 6.
Yeah.
I remember, it's funny because when it happens over a long period of time, it gets to the point where for me, I remember like really bad incidences. They stick out more than other incidences. Yeah, so it's hard to say. And they're differently at different times, in different places, and or something like that. Not living, but just it's really hard to try and pinpoint how long it went for. But I was about 11, 12 when it stopped.
And do you know why it stopped?
Yeah, I told my parents about it.
I just want to ask, like, what was your dad's reaction? Because I know that he's been through like abuse, and I'm just wondering, did he say anything then about like?
No, he was still just dead, quiet.
Yeah.
You'd get hugs and stuff from him, which that was like a term of endearment for him as well, because he wasn't a touchy-feely dad. Like, he wasn't like, hugging you all the time.
My dad's like that.
Yeah. It's like, there. Yeah. She'll be right. Yeah. So, the fact he actually gave, you get a big hug, like that was him being supportive. I don't know. Even then I feel like my mum's personality shadowed his response to that, I think. Like she's like, well, that's not happening anymore. Done.
Yeah.
It's done now. I've said it.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest, hardest thing for me, is that even though she's like, it's done now, and I honestly cannot tell you right now whether it did stop.
Yeah.
Or carried on.
Were there consequences? I know that doesn't always work.
There weren't consequences.
Because how do you stop someone from doing that because some people just can't stop? I know it sounds really bad, but like that sounds like a...
Well, that's the thing, is it is an addiction.
Even though it's like your own sibling, it's still...
That's what the person said to me. It's like, once that part of me was awoken, that I get being a child, and those are feelings and things you're not used to feeling, and
you're not supposed to. Yeah.
But in general, for me, I do think that lust is like hunger and thirst. There's this strong urge in your body telling you to feed it.
And on like any victim, it looks for a victim. I know it sounds terrible, and it is. It's horrible.
It's absolutely horrible, and it happens all the time. And you're still meant to live with this person who put you through all these things.
Did you have any normal relationship with this person growing, or do you have one now?
No, I don't talk to any of my siblings now. No, it's too hard. And that's what we should be able to do, and make the choice to say, actually, having a relationship with this person is too much of a strain on my mental health. I can't do it. It got to that point because when you've been hurt so badly by someone, every single thing they do, whether it is directed at you or not, if you are somehow in the way and it hurts so much every time. And I'm like, this isn't normal. This is not okay to deal with.
What about seeing this person, like, say, for example, if you saw this person around, does it re-trigger, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like those feelings?
It used to. And given the choice, I wouldn't see this person. I actually went through the courts to get a protection order against this person because they basically decided to send their child to the same school as my children. And so that would mean, running into each other all the time.
Did you make the school aware of this?
I did.
Yes.
But they can't do anything because so he fought the protection order. But the other thing was, and this is the reason I went for it, was after Dad's funeral, the sibling decided that they were entitled to everything on my father's. So that
particular...
Yeah, he's like, it's all my stuff now. And I stayed there with my husband and my 2 kids. And I said, well, actually, no, this isn't, you can't just come in and take this stuff. And actually assaulted me. So that was in 2017.
Like physically violence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was actually holding my baby at the time.
Oh my gosh.
And I had something, or he had something, and I went to grab it and he just hit me around the neck or something, like just pushed me. And the judge ruled that, went to see my psychologist, and I had this big, long list of these things are the outcome of the sexual abuse she suffered for years. So the judge said, look, I agree that happened. She said, but because there hasn't been a family harm incident within 2 years, I can't rule that he would be a threat. So he won that one.
So he managed to be able to send his kids to your school. Is that what happened?
Yeah.
I said, so that, oh my gosh, there's other schools like...
I know. He could have done anything. And that's the other thing for me is like, when you're genuinely sorry to someone, you do not go and continue to put them through undue.
Been through heaps.
Nah, it's a ride, baby. Get on.
Yeah. And do you ever feel this long in you to kind of like reconcile with this person? One day, like in your head, you're like, oh, one day they might change and like something strike them and they'll be like a different person, or like, because you're quite caring and stuff. Do you ever try and see the best, or do you think, nah, I'm just never going to try and reconcile this?
I think because I'm an oversharer and I've got to meet so many people of the world of all different ages, I don't think people change. I don't. And I know some people say, especially people who have found God again. In my head, I'm like, well, why can't you just be a good person from the get-go? And then also, well, who am I to judge if, meeting God helps them? But in my mind, I don't believe people change. I think, especially if your personality is fisted with mental health issues, that just gets worse the older you get.
Yeah. Was it just this particular sibling that you remember dealing with? Should I just call it lust, or should I call it something else?
I don't know. Yeah, it was lust. It's hard when you're actually thinking about that and thinking about a young person.
And between siblings, like it's more of an extreme stigma thing rather than just like, it's still horrible like with anyone, but when it's your sibling, it's like pretty out there as well, because
it's even harder.
About, yeah.
When you're still young and you cannot comprehend how big the situation is, the only things you can rely on is how you feel. Everything felt yucky because it was a little kid. Like in my head, it was yucky.
Yeah.
I didn't like, and then your body actually starts to respond to what's happening. And so you have this feeling of, but you had this feeling of, oh, actually that feels kind of, oh, okay.
You're confused.
Yeah. And then after you're still like, but that was so yucky. So then there's a self-hate.
Like, why did I maybe think that I like that, or like.
Yeah. You can't help it. It's just the way your body responds. And but in your head, it's awful.
It screws you up.
So much. As you get older, and because this was prolonged abuse, I started to understand the world and I'm like, hey, that's not okay. And then the whole, but that's my sibling. That's someone I really love. I need to protect them.
They were older than you though, eh?
Yeah.
But protect their reputation kind of, or.
And protect them. Mum was very much, this is your family. And I know a lot of families do this, like, It's family. Put up with it.
Like a soul tie to all your family members.
Ugh,
Like,
it's
whatever you do, you're like with them for life.
yeah. This is your sibling. They'll always be your sibling.
Yeah, I've heard that so many times.
And you're like, no,
I'm
thank
like,
you.
what is that supposed to mean? Like, we can still make our own choices about, who we choose to be around our kids and stuff like that.
Exactly. It actually, do you know, this has been, all of this came about when I was an adult. And because before I had kids, I tried to maintain relationships with everyone in my family. It was the thought and having that sibling near my child.
Yeah.
That was the reason I cut ties with everyone. It was irrational, but maybe not. It freaked me out. And I was like, I do not want that person near any of my children ever. I cannot do that. I cannot, in good conscience, ever let this person, I hadn't even shared with my husband about what had happened until I had this massive freak out before Jensen was born.
Before that, did you have some type of relationship with this person?
Yeah. For many, many years. I remember I went to see a counsellor. I must have been about 14. We were talking about the sexual abuse, and she said, okay, so where is this person? I'm like, at home. She's like, what? So they're still in the house you live in? I'm like, yes. She's like, oh, okay, right. Well, that may hinder your healing. And I remember I went home and I told my mum, we had a fight, and I'm like, you know what? Even the counsellor said I shouldn't be here, or he should leave, or something. And she turned around and she's like, well, you're not going back to that counsellor.
Wow. I wanted to ask, did you have a kind of soul tie to this person because of what they did to you? Like, were you thinking about them? I know it sounds so weird. Like, were you thinking about them and not in a weird way, okay, in a weird way, but like an obsessive way, like, oh my gosh, when are they going to do this next to me? Like, well, what would
yeah.
all that anxiety.
No, you do. It is an anxiety as a little person. You're running from room to room and you're like, oh, I'm not going to be in this room.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
You do.
That would be hell.
I know, but it's awful. It's so awful. The reason I think I'm so kind is because I'm like, I know that there are worse stories and worse things happening to people, but I'm like, what if this person dealt with this and this is why they respond the way they do or act the way they do? Maybe they're just really hurt.
Yeah. Back to when you were 13, you said to me that you started self-harming, and what do you think what triggered this was the sexual abuse mainly?
I think so. I mean, I'm trying to, if you, I haven't actually looked at the studies, but what are the reasons people self-harm? It's because I've got, unrest, and they are trying to get some relief. Yeah. So I was a cutter. I didn't tell anyone, never told anyone. And I would cut. Oh, I'm such a creep, but you'd watch the knife or whatever you're using. Sometimes I would use the end of a bobby pin and just scrape over the same piece of skin. I know this can be quite hard to hear for some people until the blood came out. And as soon as it started bleeding, you kind of feel like, oh, yeah, that feels better.
That's so strange because I'm thinking now, until the blood comes out, I'm sounds like you're doing something spiritual. It sounds like you're making a covenant because, blood covenants. I don't know. It just sounds like something like that. And I'm like, I thought about it when I was a teenager because I went through a lot of depression, but I never got to the point where I'd actually hurt myself. I struggle with eating disorders and stuff, but I never physically kind of,
Yeah. No, it wasn't.
What overtakes you to do that? I'm just wondering. Could be spiritual. I'm not saying that it is.
It could be. Look, I think there's a fine line between spirituality and Christianity.
Yeah, well,
sorry,
it's all
mental
spiritual.
health.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes, exactly. I'm the same.
Spirituality and mental health.
Yes, there's a overlap between the two. You know how someone's diagnosed, for example, my mom has bipolar. A lot of people say it's a demon, that are Christians that I've heard, a split personality. It's there's something else there, not just your personality. And I'm that
maybe
makes sense.
Especially when it's the Jekyll and Hyde situation, someone on their meds or whatever is wonderful and calm and great.
Switch completely.
And then they just switch.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. I don't know, but I do think there is a fine line.
Definitely.
Between, evil. And, it's hard because, how do you judge if it's just mental health, which is, most likely imbalances chemically somewhere in your brain, or actually just evil.
Were there any inappropriate sexual images or discussions around the home that you found from your dad, your mum, that indicated there was abuse that was going on in the house?
No.
I don't know if you want to mention that.
My parents had a very active life.
Sex life, yeah.
We didn't have doors.
Oh, okay, that's really odd.
We had curtains. No, I think purely because we were poor and the heat needed to see,
I
through the
see, yeah.
house. So
You couldn't lock it.
no, I walked in on them various times. And I remember one time I walked in, it was quite graphic. And I think I must have jaw dropped down, what is happening?
Yeah.
And I got such a hiding from my mum after that. And she's like, you're such a pervert. And I'm like, I don't even know what I walked in on. And I remember getting beaten by this woman. You don't look, blah, 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 afterwards. Because I ran off. Seriously, I ran and hid in a room.
It's normal for kids to be like, what in the world if they saw that?
I know. What was that? But I ran and hid because I was like, oh, I feel yucky again.
Yeah.
That yucky feeling came back. Oh, no.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm getting a hiding and punished for what did I do wrong?
It's so funny because growing up with, my grandparents were old, but even when they were younger, I could never imagine walking in on them doing it. But then we slept in the same bed, me, my dad, and my brother until I was 10. We didn't have another bed, so whatever happened, it was in the same bed, and I couldn't really get away from it.
That's hard.
And it's I know that it wasn't right, and I know that even looking back, my dad probably didn't wish any harm on me, but it does affect you as a kid. I'm no doubt about it.
Yeah,
it's not normal to see that.
Little brains can't deal with it.
Exactly.
There are some things that children don't need to be exposed to.
Exactly.
Because they can't understand it.
You sound like such a good mum.
I'm really honest, and I just try and explain things age appropriately.
Mm.
But I am honest about situations and about, especially sexual dangers and things like that. But everything age appropriate. There's always a way to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you face any threats by this person, not to tell anyone?
No. I had got hidings for, my mum thought I told someone something and it was unrelated. And I got a hiding for that. So by the time that I had shared about the abuse with my parents, by then it was well known. You don't tell anyone anything. We knew. You don't discuss anything outside the family.
Did this person did they ever say sorry to you? Because you said you had a relationship before your kids were born. Did they kind of say, I'm real sorry how I hurt you?
We were teenagers and I'm sorry that happened. And it started because someone introduced me to
That's often
something.
the case, yeah.
And it just awoke something inside me.
And that's what they said to you? Well,
yeah.
That's pretty explicit to say. Pretty blunt.
It is, yeah. And that was all I got, and that was fine. We had a really nice relationship. We had the same group of friends and growing up.
Did you struggle with, I know this is an awkward question, but did you struggle with sexual thoughts or impulses after this happened because it's an open door, really? Just for those who have been through it. And
so I was masturbating as a kid. That's what
happens, when that happens to you.
Yeah, and I was remember being really young doing that. And because it's so crazy because you look at your own kids and you're at that age, you look at them and they are having the greatest time of their lives and have no idea about, what masturbating is. And you're thinking about yourself at that age and you're oh man.
Yeah.
I not got over. I think I just pushed it back, and it wasn't until I got my first boyfriend and we started doing boyfriend-girlfriend stuff that these thought and different things.
Did you share this with anyone? You were struggling?
No, because we weren't even allowed to date till we were 16 or have a real boyfriend or girlfriend till we were 18.
And were you afraid to tell your mom? If you told your mom, oh, this is what I'm struggling with, is this normal?
She was dealing with my two younger siblings.
Oh, yeah.
Had a really hard time with different things. And I stopped sharing a really long time ago. I didn't like what happened after I shared about the abuse. And this bone of contention I still have with her that I'm you should have sent him away or sent me away.
I feel your dad, where was he in all this? I know I'm not saying it was his
job,
but I feel I just wish that he would have taken a more forward
I didn't.
But then what happened to him kind of explains why he was personality was quite pushed down, if he'd been through that.
I know, yeah, I thought that too. But then I'm also well, was his upbringing worse?
Yeah.
I
know.
Do you know
mean?
how people can become quite desensitized?
And he just oh yeah, that's kind of what I grew up with.
Yeah.
That makes sense actually.
I have a feeling possibly, and I wish he was here, because I would,
Aww.
we only just started getting into the nitty gritty, but Oh, yeah, you have to wonder that.
I can't believe he told you that. He must have really like.
Well, he started doing his therapy.
Yeah.
And and you start sharing and opening up about these things that you've kept inside. And this was, well, for him especially, because we didn't know anything. I don't think he told anyone.
And do you think like just that happening with your sibling to you?
I had a theory. It's like a sexual demon.
Yeah,
just goes
definitely.
through.
That's not a theory. That's like what I mean, it's a belief.
But a lot of people, I wouldn't want to. Oh yeah, we have that. Where
No,
it's
but
really probably
you have
everywhere.
to identify it so you can like kill it.
I think so.
So it just keeps slithering through because it's one of those things that like hide. Hey, and like there's such a stigma to talk about like these things, even though they happen.
There is
in
a
family.
stigma, and it's so hard because without awareness, people can't stop. If you've got no awareness of something happening, people can't put steps in place to stop it happening, which is hard. So you have to have people willing to talk about their experiences and do all of that. I don't know.
You're amazing to like share what you shared as well, because not many people would, I feel like, even share that. Like,
yeah, but it happens everywhere. And apparently, it happens a lot in the home. We're all protecting our kids from the outside world and we're not looking in.
Exactly. How was your relationships during your teen years? Like, what kind of relationships did you have, especially like intimate relationships?
No, it wasn't good. I was really promiscuous. I was probably raped twice. I let anyone and everyone do whatever they wanted with me. And by the time I was like, 18, 19, like that was like, oh, this is what you are. This is what you deserve. This is,
Yeah.
you
kind of dig yourself into a pit, like.
Oh, you do, and you don't care. And we can laugh about it sometimes, me and my best friend, about some of the awful situations. And it's funny because we'll laugh about it, but we'd be horrified if our kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Because her kid's like older. She's got older kids, one older kid, but she's becoming a young woman now. And we talk about the stuff that we went through at the same age. And it's like, oh, I hope, like in my heart. And she's the same. She's like, I hope she never does any of this because it was risky.
Yeah.
In all ways.
Yeah.
And it was horrible. And it was just, I don't know. We kind of experienced the same things as children growing up. So we kind of bonded over this trauma and we lived our lives like that when we were teenagers. It was awful.
It kind of makes you lose your sense of self-worth when you're abused as a kid, I feel like, or as a teenager or whatever. And it opens the door for these cycles of meeting, when you keep meeting the same type of person, like again and again. It's like a different body, but it's like same like person. Like I'm like, you're looking for love, but it's like you keep finding lust. And it's like...
No, but you think it's love at the time. And you're like, well, if I just do whatever they want, then they'll love me and that'll be fine.
Yeah.
And it's really sad. It is really sad. And it's awful. And this is, this is the cycle that keeps going with people, which is why, I'm desperately trying to stop this cycle with my children. Let them know that they're amazing and that they have, a choice over their body and about what happens. And it's hard. It's hard because when you've been so traumatized and you're trying to find the line between this healthy idea you're trying to teach your children. You're like, wait, was that too much? Oh, was that too little? One day at a time.
Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. And I'm sure others can relate as well.
Therapy is good. And for these reasons, also free. It's free. I've got a friend at the moment going through some ACC counselling. And it's a process, but it's a good process, I think. Being self-aware at the end and what your triggers are.
Yeah.
And being able to deal with them in a more responsible, mature way, or knowing at least that you're going to go through this pit, but being able to tell people and let them know so that, they can be kinder to you. I've loved my time away from the children. Oh, yeah, that was good.
Thank you for listening to Voices Unhindered. It's great hearing from my listeners. Reach out with questions and comments through Insta or Facebook. Just search for Voices Unhindered. I'm interested to know what other topics and voices you'd like me to bring on the show. Subscribe to Voices Unhindered on Spotify or Apple Podcasts to never miss an episode.